Good evening and welcome to the Coach's Box. Ray Halbrook here with Live Stream STL. Hope everybody's having a wonderful evening tonight here. We are here for Christmas Eve, and you can see that we're a little bit short tonight with a couple of guys out, and that's okay. You know, we've got a couple of guys that I guess we could say they're quarantined, I guess, at this point. Can we not, Mr. Blair?
Yes, I think they're quarantined at this moment, so we'll go with that. And, I'm very gracious for those two gentlemen, and the other one, I think, is celebrating his wife's birthday tonight.
That's true.
So,
Zach McVeigh.
You'll definitely shoot a shout out there to his wife, Mandy, celebrating her 29th birthday again, she said. So
right.
I saw that on Facebook today, so happy birthday to Mandy.
I've already got somebody saying happy Festivus.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
Festivus for all the rest of us, and that's okay. Kyle Bohrer's over with us as well. How you doing, Kyle?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're going to have Ben Elick in as well here in a few minutes. He's running a little bit late, but we wanted to just jump ahead, and while we're waiting for him to get here, we're going to kind of flip-flop things. We were going to do the year in review first, but we're going to actually do the best of. Oh, my goodness. Stand back, put your seatbelt on, because it's the best of the Coach's Box, and it's going to be fun. There's a lot of laughter in this, and we start with all the way back during our very, very first show. So we get a little bit of Mr. Shooty in there as well. So so check it out. Here it is, our year in review. We'll be back in probably about 15 minutes with it, because it's that long and it's that good. We'll be right back. Hey, Ray Halbrook here with Live Stream STL. Good afternoon to everybody. We have a brand new show coming up right now. A shot right here of the boys. Wave at the camera. This one right back here. Hey, there it is. This is the Coach's Box.
Test.
There we go. Are
London.
we testing? London calling, right?
London.
There you go.
Test.
Take it away, my friend.
All right. Welcome, everybody. The first edition of the Coach's Box. We'll see how this goes. Are all of us going to be locked down 5-6 days from now? We don't know, because what we've got is an assortment of some of the finest coaching minds that Jefferson County and the East Missouri area has ever produced. So I'm going to introduce those fellows.
They showed up later.
So here to my left is Coach Jason Jarvis from Herculaneum High School. Right next to him is Mr. Riley Blair. And lastly, Chris Miller. Just finished his first year at St. Pius X High School as the basketball coach there. And this kind of came about, I think, Chris, you kind of started this discussion. We got to chatting on Facebook a little bit, and nobody's got as much to do as they would be.
This is going to be our assistant coaches, if you will.
What's your role with in the program? What kind of stuff does Coach Blair have you do? Hey, now listen, you can say whatever you want. He can't do anything to you right now, but later on I can't promise anything. Okay.
I was going to say, pretty sure he has his assistants do a lot more than that.
I mean, I know personally.
I just go.
And hey, you're far enough away. You don't have to worry about him either. So you're golden.
Try to make Coach Jarvis the Coach of the Year.
Oh, boy. That's a tall order. Oh, man. He must have talked to Coach Miller before this show.
Brotherhood, and there's moments where you're like, I'm going to kill and he did in various times throughout the year. It was, I'm going to kill all you guys. And it's like, all right, he's going to kill all of us. It wasn't just the JV coach or the varsity assistant coach. It was the 7th grade, 8th grade, JV.
Nightmare's over now. I mean, full-time at Pius and everything. You're doing well.
No comment. No comment. There might be people that watch this and feel a little different.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Zach, he has a lot of, time put in at that place.
You mean Festus La Pachanga? Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
this is a great place. This is where your dreams come true here. I mean, we got Coach Jarvis is here again this week. He's not delivering pizzas. Coach Blair is still not wearing a hat. And we have a new special guest who's going to join us, and we'll see how things work, and we'll have a secret ballot to see if you stay around, is Coach Zach McVeigh, who's the new girls basketball coach at Jefferson R7 High School. And we're really happy to have Zach here. There's been times I wish I had that many. Like, whenever I only had 8 kids and we played Herculaneum last year. Anyway, so we're not going to get into that one. But anyway,
We'll wait till Tara Lynn gets here.
well, yeah, at some point she'll be here, and then we can definitely get some audience questions.
Hey, happy anniversary, Tara Lynn. It's my 3-year anniversary today.
Oh, congratulations.
I got to get that out of the way.
Yeah, what'd you get her?
Yeah, I got to get it. What did I get her?
Just get her dinner.
What time? What time does Amazon deliver it? Is that why you're watching your phone for the tracking?
No.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
The Waits Financial Golf Tournament, and that is benefiting Special Olympics. So we put together a little about 5 to 6 minute video here of kind of how that went.
Get up. Oh, yes. It's findable.
It's seeable.
I'm at a loss for words.
It's going for part 3.
Going for another one, folks. Chris Miller.
This could be part.
Going for it all.
Okay, if you hit the rocks 3 times, I got a $5 bill. Part 4.
Look out, people. Potential for a show. Like a syndicated show.
Yeah, because everybody wants to watch that. Right there. This guy right here. Everybody wants to watch this guy right here.
With Chris Miller.
Yesterday being Father's Day, and I think I haven't met Zach. I haven't met your dad. I know I met your dad, and he's better at golf than me, which doesn't take much. Ray, don't comment.
I'll vouch
Jason,
for that.
I don't know if you've met
so.
my dad. I mean, he's at all of our games.
He is?
You know, my dad, just like all of your dads, was vital, was always there. You know, Dad, he worked at, we lived in R7. He worked at the River Cement, the local cement factory, and worked in the labor pool pretty much 90% of my life growing up. It probably wasn't until late high school where he transferred out of the labor pool into the lab. But, you know, so we're talking about, I mean, hard work, 10, 12 sometimes if the kiln went down, 16-hour days, but always found time. It didn't matter. I mean, and I worked there as college help for summer, so I understand what it's like when it's, you know, 120, 130 degrees, and you got to have a respirator on for your shift and you're shoveling and all that stuff.
I mean, I grew up in the gym or on the baseball field year-round. So, you know, it was kind of embedded in me a little bit, that coaching mentality. But as far as what my dad has kind of taught me, you know, 2 things that stand out to me is, one is he teaches you a lot, taught me a lot about character. You know, most important thing about is whatever you're going to do it with high character.
I would have to say if there's anything that stayed with me for as long as it has, and it's just driven me and given me a passion for my entire life, is, you know, my dad used to always have a saying, ain't never did nothing. And
I like that.
And you know, and it's really kind of a thing that's lived with me for so long, and I've told this to my kids too, because it's when you know, especially as a dad, when they need to hear that, it's very important to drive that home, and it gets in your heart, gets in your soul.
One of the biggest things I learned from my dad was work ethic. The guy never missed work hardly. Back in like 1985, he fell off a 25-foot ladder. I think it was 84 or something like that. He had enough sick days that he could have been out for a year and a half and it wouldn't have mattered. He was out for a long time. He broke every rib in his body. And so one thing I learned the most about my dad is, you know, no matter what happens to you, you just got to keep plugging away.
I've had an interesting relationship with my dad, and being an only child, surprising, I know, right? Being an only child was really, really tough sometimes, but I grew up, I was a little shy and backwards and bashful. I know it's hard to believe.
No.
But truthfully, that's kind of how it was, and I was kind of a little bit the exact opposite when it came to some of the stuff that he did. And I was pretty passive, and he was not. He always believed that people, if you want something, you have to go after, you have to achieve it. And if anybody tries to get in your way, you just kind of run them over. And that's kind of how he really taught me.
Everyone that knows me knows I like to drive fast. And one thing that really annoys the crap out of me is when this person gets in the fast lane and they're not going fast. And so you're trying to pass the slow people in the right lane, but you got this guy, and they usually have a, sticker in their window or something that says 99.1. But then you're trying.
Oh my God!
You're trying to get through, and you can't get through. Anyway, that is my tirade. Is that
power's going to go out again, and it's not going to be from an accident. It's going to be from a lightning strike. So I'm going to slide over.
I'm just stating the facts, man.
Stand for in ESPN. Entertainment, right?
Entertainment.
Okay. I don't care because it's professional sports. I want to see 500-foot home runs. I want to see 102-mile-an-hour fastball. Give me steroids in pro sports.
Oh my!
I
goodness.
don't care. I don't.
You heard it here first.
It doesn't bother me.
Watch out!
It's entertainment. They're not curing cancer. They're not teaching.
Well, I mean,
Give me I want to be entertained.
Platforms.
I agree.
I want to be entertained, and I don't care. You don't think NFL? Go ahead and do the steroids.
Are you
UFC? They do it already.
I have this
Give me
gladiator
500
moment where I'm going,
Are you not entertained?
No, I'm not. I am not when I watch the Cardinals and they can't hit the ball in the outfield.
All right, so I'm on. All right.
Hey,
by the way,
15 seconds is
If
gone.
hey, listen, if you want to put me on mute, see what happens.
No, let's not.
Go ahead.
See what happens.
Go ahead.
I will make you cringe.
Go
right?
ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so the funny part is every time that we go into a week, it ends up being literally 2 days before we're going to do the show. And everybody's like, what are we going to do? What's the agenda for the show? Everybody's asking, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? And then it's crickets. There ain't nothing. Nobody says anything.
We're waiting on the host.
Wait on what? I got put it laid out there like, okay, here's what we're going to do. And then it's, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like this. Well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. How about we do this? No, I want to do that. I want to do this.
I can't hear him. Can you hear him?
And you know what? And it's like, somebody make a freaking decision. Everybody, and then it's like, well, I don't want to do that. And it's like mumbling and grumbling all the time. You guys just make it. You guys make decisions for a living.
Man, I like to hear, but I can't.
I don't care.
The answer is A. They had 250 steals and 250 home runs. So,
Me and you, we got to beat him off.
yeah, two to 1 to 1.
You guys are all wild out. Get your mind out of it,
You realize what you just said?
Yes, I did.
Oh, my gosh.
You guys lost it.
I tried to let it go.
I couldn't help
Willard
it.
did not.
I think I peeked over one
Willard
of you
did
guys.
not.
I couldn't help. I'm like, oh my God, he just said that.
Just say that.
Yeah, that was bad.
This was just
You can't say that.
Unbelievable, folks.
It's a family show. What are you
This is a
talking
family
about
show.
right here? You guys got all your mind in the
This was just after the segment about social.
Don't hit
media.
send, Ray. Don't hit send.
Don't hit send.
Don't upload the
Man, we
video.
should have a delay now. Should have had a dump button. I
You
used to
finished
hate
next
that.
to last, and
Wow.
the team that finished last didn't show up.
You know,
Hey,
Here's your ice cream.
there was only 2 people in the tournament. Hey.
Hey, Mr. Miller, could you do me a favor and
No.
give me one of those little right there? Just
Mikey
a little
Ikeys?
Mikey.
Oh.
Mikey Ike.
Oh, my goodness. Look at this. Look at this. We just
you cannot make this up. You cannot make
You knew this
make
was
this
coming.
up.
No, I did not know this was coming. That is hilarious.
Bring that over. Bring that over here.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
That's like
I did not know
completely
this was
great on cue.
happening. I did not.
That was awesome. On cue.
This
and
is
everything.
what
hey,
happens.
here,
What does that
What does
say?
it say? Put it right here.
Yeah, he's
Fix it right
I
there.
had been
I hate
holding it up
trivia, but
forever.
at least I won. At least I won. Okay.
But at least
I think
I've won.
I think he's
I've won
making a
once.
poke at Zach.
Yeah, you know,
Okay.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Why are we poking at Zach?
Because he's got this bluebird on his.
Anyone that wears blue, I'm
Bluebirds. Are you guys the Bluebirds? Pretty birds.
Oh, no!
You sold your dead parent to a blind kid?
Oh, my gosh. For each,
Gray
like
needs
each
to get some
team.
better trivia questions.
Well, I am running out of some trivia questions. So, Jeff Whitener, if you can help me out, that'd be great. You know, so,
If you would like to submit a trivia question to Livestream STL,
please call 1-800-SUCK-IT.
Swear jar. Where's the swear jar? Swear jar.
no way!
So when Ray's on assignment next week,
And your last name cannot be McVeigh either.
Here's our answers.
we're doing intruder training right now. I'm not doing anything.
Oh my God, he's gonna break.
McVeigh
He's
just
breaking it. He's
breaking my
it.
stuff.
Oh!
Because it was 1960 when this thing was made.
Actually, that thing's not even a year old.
It was made in
Are you? Hey, is there really just Pepsi in that? The turkey.
What Motown singer tried out for the Lions in 1970?
Motown.
Answers: Marvin Gaye,
Gay.
Stevie Wonder,
No, they're not.
You're not just. If it's him, it can't be.
He was probably the place kicker.
These answers are from usefultrivia.com. I'm not joking.
Gosh! Oh my God, McVay is losing his marbles. I've never seen McVay like this.
Oh,
My God!
Is that what Pepsi does to you?
What the hell is going on out here?
Who were the next two?
What's
I don't know.
Roddy Middlesex?
Oh my God!
Wow.
It's B. I don't care. Oh my God!
Stevie Wonder.
We're still laughing from that. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. Ben Elix made it back with us here, and we're going to take a little laugh here. You know, in the last, this is episode 39. So, you know, episode 39, here we are, we're still laughing about it. Even from episode 1 all the way on here. You know, we had a little bit of some time off there where we had to do the quarantine thing for a little while, but that was a lot of fun, you know. Your favorite one?
You know, we did a lot of the Zoom ones. I thought
Yeah,
some of those were very informative. I thought we were just talking with a lot of different coaches. We brought a lot of some upper people that from
Wasn't Charles Underwood on one of those officials?
was on
Yeah,
there.
that was a good one.
I thought that was a good show as far as there was just so much more, kind of discussion amongst the group, and everybody was kind of giving feedback and that, and we did that for 7 or 8, 9 weeks there in a row where we couldn't go anywhere, do anything. So, those were some fun shows, but I think that once we was able to get in here to La Pachanga and do the show here, we've had some really enjoyable evenings. That's for sure.
Thanksgiving Eve.
Oh yes, that was probably one of the
that
favorites.
was the most of it. Like most of that at the end there was all Thanksgiving Eve. We just had one heck of a show.
We did, and we had a big crowd here that night.
We should have had the after party. We should have had the after hours. Mic'd up after hours.
Yeah, that would have been probably a good one that night.
That one might have been on pay-per-view.
It got less informative once Miller took over.
Oh, yeah.
It started going downhill.
Hey, don't pick on those guys. They're not here.
That's right. That's right.
They can't defend themselves.
He's in a deer stand somewhere.
I got to stick up for my private school brethren.
There There you go. There you go.
He is the better Lancer, right?
Yeah.
He said that. He said that. He said, "Oh, you're going to pick on us the whole time we're off."
Yeah.
Every time somebody misses, that's what happens.
Yeah.
I got
are they on
3 of them to
assignment?
pick on them. I got 3 of them to pick on tonight. So
Yep.
I got a fun night with these guys.
Absolutely. Those were the days we'll be able to go back and say, you remember the time when, and we'll
Oh,
just,
yes.
I mean, going through all of this, no joke, going through all of this today, I mean, there was times where I sit there, I've laughed at it every single time because you had to be in the moment.
Yes.
And it just kind of was what it was, but oh my gosh, it was just hilarious.
I think some of the, and we also we go back to that first one we ever did in Jarvis's basement, and what a fun show that was because we had no idea what that was going to intake, you know, and what it was going to hold for us, and that's kind of the thing that when Coach Miller, had this idea of doing this. I don't think we had any script of what it was going to be like.
Oh my gosh, no.
And I think it's we've got a lot of people watching this show and looking forward to watching this show every week. Just I think more so about just listening to some point of views and hearing some humor and getting to laugh, and especially during that quarantine time, there was a lot of people where they just weren't able to go places, so it was their entertainment for the week. So.
I got a message from Miller. He says, "Suck it, Boar." Lordy.
Oh,
sometimes we just need some comic relief, don't we?
Miller, I got you covered, buddy.
Oh,
here we go.
I got you covered. I'll support the Pius.
He's got the Pius baseball jersey out.
Now that's your personal jacket, right?
From a long time ago.
Wow. Very nice. Very nice. Well, goodness, I mean, sit here and talk about all those different times, and who'd ever thought we'd make it 39 weeks, number one?
I didn't know that they would last more than one.
Yeah,
so,
right.
And I don't think any of us did as well.
Right.
So, I mean, after we did that first week, and then COVID-19 hit, and we said, you know what, we're just going to continue to do this and try it Zoom. And I thought it was pretty successful during that time, and then got into the summer months and was able to continue to do it in the summertime, and really wasn't a lot going on in the summertime either, as far as for sports and stuff, especially not in June. Nothing going on in June. July started to hit a little bit of it, but then once school got back in session and all of us started coaching different sports, or our kids were involved in some sports and stuff, and it was very difficult to try to always be here, but most of us were here, I'd say 95% of the time, and that's something, when it says about the importance of what we put this together to give a laugh out to people and give a little bit of humor just to make the people just be relaxed and enjoy watching something funny that maybe sometimes doesn't have any meaning whatsoever.
Right.
It's just enjoyable. So I'm excited about it. Being able to do this for 39 weeks, and next week will be week number 40 out of the 52 weeks of the year.
Yeah,
so I think that's pretty awesome.
How about that? Yeah, you're right. I mean, we could have easily just said, well, that was a fun run after the first week, and decided not to, and kind of persevered through that 7 or 8 weeks, or however many weeks it was, that we had to kind of throw this this Zoom call together. That was the hard part, was like, okay, can you get on? Okay, can you get on? I just need to do a test here. I need to do a test there.
Right.
And it's been it's amazing what we've come from even during those times, because my goodness, I mean, just the technology part was so crazy. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of one of those deals where I was kind of like, are we going to pull this stuff off certain weeks? It was crazy.
Right, and I think that's not the kind of thing that I think our intentions were from the very beginning, was just to get our heads together and just have some good conversation and feed off of that and feed off each other as far as what our opinions are, and that's why we called it the Coach's Box Call Like We See It, because I think that all of us have some side of difference in
right.
opinions at times, and we've had some pretty good discussions over some topics many nights, even with some of our guests. Like, these guys,
Yeah.
when we discuss stuff, there's just some good conversation and that thing. And, Michelle Gebhardt here says that you guys are great comic relief, much appreciated.
Yeah,
And that's the
appreciate
kind
that.
of stuff that, you like to hear and you like to see. That's kind of the people that are watching our show every week. I mean, that's what they're enjoying. And, that's something that maybe I'd throw out there in the next couple of weeks or next week before next week's show. Maybe put out there what your favorite moment was of the coach's box.
Yeah. We've
throw
got the
it
text
out
line, too. We could do the text line.
Yeah, put that
You're
up there.
interested in doing
and,
that? There's the text line there.
We'd love to
314-939-8403. Yeah, love to have that. Text us over here. Text us your thoughts and favorite moments of the coach's box. Do we dare say?
Well, I know, just as a fan and a partial participant, I guess, random pop in here and there. I remember doing some of the Zoom calls, and that was a lot of fun. And I'd be sitting in there putting my son to bed and just giggling. And my wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'd have my phone in my hand, watching the show,
right?
texting in, and going back and forth. So, it's I mean, it's cool to sit around and watch coaches. Like we live this lifestyle. Like if you coach, you understand it. If you don't, we try to help you understand. But sometimes, it's hard to. And like Riley and I during season, we talk almost every morning. And so it's cool to just see some of that stuff that we talk about. That's out in a format that we can all appreciate and hear other people's opinions. And I've been a huge fan. Actually, I've been a fan since last year, Ray, when we hooked up and got you out to our tournament.
That was a lot of fun.
Just everything that you do with Main Street Sports. I mean, Jeff is a great follow on social media. And so, I mean, 39 weeks, here's another 39 weeks. And, I'm happy to participate when I can and be a fan when I'm not.
Yeah,
so
we appreciate all that, and that's something that, like I said, I just enjoy it every week. My wife says, "Man, why did you ever think we were going to be here doing this 39 weeks in a row?"
Well, you're here every night anyway, so you might as well be doing something, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yes,
it's not every night.
Okay, every other night.
Yeah. Might get 3 weeks, 3 nights a week.
3 nights a week,
but
times 2.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
no. But that's the kind of thing is I enjoy coming here every week and enjoy just hanging out with different coaches and just having some good conversation and and enjoying some laughter, but also enjoying some conversation that are sometimes get a little heated. But
sure.
At the end of the day, we all know why we're here and we just enjoy it and difference of opinion and move on with our lives.
We'll just fall forward.
That's right. Always fall forward.
Always falling forward.
That's right. That's for you, Coach McVay.
There you go. And Coach McVay, the coach that loves steroids, right? That was awesome.
I mean, he does kind of have a point.
All about entertainment.
I get it. I mean, if there wasn't so much drawback on that, of something that could actually harm your body,
I mean, how many people really thought that McGuire was clean?
Oh.
I mean, he was swinging a toothpick. He had pop-high arms, and he was hitting the ball 500 feet off of, out of the stadium. And stuff.
Well, I mean, my question to him would have been, does he like the all-star basketball game? Where they're just chucking up threes and alley dunks?
No defense being played anymore. The NBA, that's another topic.
Yeah.
Topic
but nobody wants to watch defense.
Yeah, right. Got Miller says Ben looks tired. Ben says thanks.
I came straight from so we normally have a big Christmas party for our team and families and stuff, and with COVID we had to change what that was. So we did practice, and then we brought pizza in for all the kids in our entire program, and then we had a huge Nerf war throughout the school.
Hey, there you go.
And so I came straight from that, dropping the kids off with the babysitter. My wife let me come down, hang out with you guys. Yeah. So sorry, Chris. I'll make sure that Ray does my makeup job better next time. Okay?
Well,
I'll get here early.
And now he's nice picking on Kyle. He wants you to give Blair your hat.
Well, that's because he can't see from the glare. You got to turn off some of these lights.
Hey, don't get me started.
It's probably why the refs don't call all their calls that he sees.
Hold on now. Wait
blinds
a minute.
them.
Now, this is something that the Coach's Box family probably doesn't know too much about, but you know who really hates these lights? Jarvis. Jarvis absolutely hates these
Jarvis
lights.
hates something?
Yeah.
No.
And I
essence of positivity in this house. What is going on?
I'm not joking. I will leave these lights on as long as I can.
That's why the last time I was here, they were on through break.
They were.
We're all sitting here talking. It's
They were absolutely on the entire time. I'm not
Tonight
joking.
I'll take a video and send it to Jarvis. He turned them off as soon as we were done.
There you go.
He's like, we didn't even leave him on when he rolled the video. I don't know.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so
Good
funny.
stuff.
So funny. Well, do we want to take a break and then we'll come back with the year in review?
Sure, let's
do
do
that.
it.
Let's
Cool.
take a break here.
Sounds
you
good.
are watching the Coach's Box. We will be right back.
Hey, this is Chris Miller, and you're watching the Coach's Box on Livestream STL, the best sports streaming show there is on Facebook.
Jefferson College has affordable degree options for students of all ages. Plus, the quality of education rivals any four-year university, and designated classes are guaranteed to transfer. Jefferson College provides safe on-site and online options and many exciting career pathways like humanities, business, social science and public service, math, physics and technology, and science and health. Students who know, go Jeffco. Enroll now at jeffco.edu.
Hi, I'm Lawrence Kroedinger with Home by SMCI. Whether it's residential or commercial, we have the right products for you. Global Plasma Solutions will attack your bacteria, mold, viruses, even help dust in your house. They install easily, less than 45 minutes, and it's invaluable for the rest of your life. If you're interested in any of the products that we do offer, give us a call at 636-337-4444 or send us an email at service@homebysmci.com.
Dr. Craig Rubel is an orthopedic surgeon and fellowship-trained sports medicine specialist who cares for all athletes of all ages, performing total joint replacements, knee and shoulder arthroscopies, and general orthopedic procedures such as fracture treatment and carpal tunnel releases. Visit rubelortho.com or call 636-933-7400.
This live stream STL has been a huge asset for Jefferson County sports, in my opinion. I mean, getting these athletes the camaraderie that they're out there and people can see them. I mean, to be honest with you, I got a call from a coach yesterday about one of my athletes that said that they saw some of her games on live stream STL.
Awesome.
So, I mean, that right there instilled to me that this is important. This is important for those kids. And so, I think it's great, and I wish you guys the best. And if you're out there and you want to sponsor, this is a great opportunity for kids to support kids of our local kids and get them support and get them acknowledgement out there, because we have a lot of great athletes in this county.
Well, we appreciate that. And at the end of the day, our mission is much the same as your missions, coaches, to help shine a light on these kids. And get them exposure and get their name out there and help them. And if they can advance, they're better off, we're better off as a community, and that's why we're here.
This is Coach Riley Blair from the Herculaneum Black Cats.
Hi, this is Coach Jarvis from the Herculaneum Black Cats.
Hi, this is Coach Zach McVeigh with the Jefferson Lady Blue Jays.
Hi, I'm Chris Miller from St. Pius X High School.
And you're watching the Coach's Box.
And you are watching the Coach's Box
on Livestream STL.
On Livestream STL.
We are back here for our second segment here, our year in review, as we kind of collect our thoughts, if you will, the year in review for the Coach's Box here. And guys, this is kind of nonchalant because we originally were going to cancel today, but the boys back at home said no, we can't do that. So we worked on putting this kind of together, and it took me about 4 hours to put that video together. 15 minutes, 4 hours.
Watching 39 episodes.
Oh, I know. Going through all those episodes has been crazy. But, yeah, so year in review here. And, I'll start off, and I'll just tell you right now, before COVID hit, no doubt about it, absolutely no doubt about it, the best part of the beginning of 2020 here was the deep run for a few schools. Lady Black Cats went pretty deep into districts, and then we were able to see the St. Pius Lancers boys make it and went on an absolute shock the world, if you will, type game at the end of the district game. They moved on to the sectionals and lost on a last-minute shot, but an amazing road for Chris Miller and the Pius Lancers over there.
Yeah, definitely was, and that was definitely a highlight around the county as far as to begin January, February of 2020. I think it started out right after that. I think that we had a lot of positive things happen in our county, in January and February with our sports and stuff, and was able to, I see a couple state champions in wrestling come out of the county on one of the boys and girls sides. And so, you had a lot of that good stuff. And then you had some, district championships won by some county schools, and Crystal City girls won a district title. That's an awesome feat for them. So I thought that the first of the year turned out really well for our county as far as sports goes, and was able to do a lot of great things. And I think that's started out the year on a positive note, and I think there was still so much more positives that we can talk about, as far as that goes. But those are some of the highlights that we kind of wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. So I watched that. The district championship game with the Pius boys, and watched it live with you guys.
That was with Jarvis and Blair on the call. That was awesome. I'd never seen it before. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're
you about
good. You're good.
But to see the way that those two called the game, I've never seen anybody do it that way ever before. Ever, like no joke, ever. And it was like absolute chemistry. He was calling for one side, Jarvis was calling for the other side. It was back to back, end to end action, and you hear them both. I mean, just pick up where the other one left off, and I'm like, I just got to sit back here and work the knobs. I'm just going to shut up and let them do everything. So it was cool.
That was very enjoyable to be able to do that. I mean, I had a lot of fun driving out to Rolla and broadcast that. Jason and I drove out there together after we took off, and I'll tell you what, that was a fun experience just to call it, but more importantly to be there for one of our good buddies in Chris Miller. Sure. And I mean, we this guy I know right now really put a lot of work into helping Coach Miller scout and get some
you actually got
stuff.
Stats?
Oh yeah, definitely,
because I couldn't get any stats.
Yeah, I know.
Should have talked to me.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to call you up from now on.
But that's the kind of thing that that's the relationship that all of us, that is including Ben here. I mean, he's very, 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 very supportive of our kids. As far as he wants to see us have success, except for when we play him. But any other time, I guarantee he's he's rooting for us in any way, shape, or form. So that's just kind of the relationship, and we enjoyed that game going out there and doing that, and it didn't end like we thought it was going to, but it was still a great run, and for Pius to have a chance to maybe possibly get to the Elite Eight and Final Four, and they had a good chance there. So
sorry to tromp on you.
Yeah, no, you're good. I just I remember so I watched it that night, watched it live, and then just watched it blow up on social media. Watched the message boards on Mo Sports, and like, you make the call. What do you think? Like, I mean, and just watching how it ended, and that was really cool. And then seeing them get to play the next night. I will say this, having won a couple of district titles, that's the best practice of the day. The next one after you win, the best practice of the season is the next one after you win that district title, and then the second best is the next one after you win the sectional game. So I can't imagine what it's like if you actually win a quarterfinal game. What that practice is like,
Rissler can answer that question.
Yeah.
Last year,
and
Steve Rissler.
And that's what I was going to say. As I started my relationship with you guys, and early, Ray, with having you out at our tournament, and then getting to go do that Saxony licking game.
Yeah, that was a heck of a game.
Yeah, that was a great game. It was fun. And what I was going to say with Pius and with anybody, to make a deep postseason run, you got to be good, right? You got to stay healthy, and you got to get a little lucky along the way somewhere.
Yep.
And I remember talking to those guys beforehand, because we got moved down into Class 3 unexpectedly last year. And so I went and talked to Sam Sides and Coach Rissler, and they're both like, "Oh, you guys could be playing in this game." And unfortunately, we got the buzzsaw Whitfield in our district that year. So looking back, you're like, oh, okay, this is a good experience. Got a bunch of kids in the district championship game. Looking forward, you hope that everybody stays healthy. You get a little lucky, and with 2021 works out a little bit better than 2020 did, at least on the personal level. But it would be cool to see Miller's team or Jarvis or you guys or any of you guys make a deep playoff run. Because I tell, when we talked about this when we played Josh, like, I'm fans of their kids, Paige babysits for me, so I want her to be successful.
Right.
Now, I'll take her having, maybe 15 points and, on the night when we play, maybe a little bit of an off night, but,
right.
But, and as I get to know, like, Jarvis and Chris and those guys, you just become fans of their teams and their kids. And
Jarvis is posting left and right here real quick. Said, I wish they would have won the game. And he says, my first time ever rooting for the Lancers. So there you go.
Yeah, and so I guess that's a take back for me is like, getting to know Chris Miller, getting to know Jason Jarvis, getting to know, about their teams and their programs on the boys' side.
Yeah.
For me that was a highlight, getting to know you, Ray, and become friends with you, and just even
I have a friend now.
some of the conversations. Well, actually, some of the conversations, on personal wise off the air and stuff that we've had, I've really appreciated that, And so highlight for me that comes out of this conglomeration of things that Riley put together.
Kyle Bohr, final thought there on the unbelievable season of the St. Pius Lancers.
It was a lot of fun that Miller actually, like, so after our season kind of abruptly ended, we didn't expect to lose to Grandview, and we were expecting to play that Friday night. Mm-hmm. I remember he sent a message to Blair and I saying, what do you think about this to do against this team? And I was like, I don't know, send me some stuff. And then all of a sudden he just sent me film after film after film. And my wife's like, what are you doing? The season's over. I go, it was kind of like it let me weed off the disappointment, kind of give me another week to kind of be involved. So that was fun.
I'm definitely calling you for stats. There's no doubt about that.
Ben knows more stats than me, so he may not give them to you, but
actually, huddle assist is pretty sweet. You can do some deep dives and go down some rabbit holes of numbers, and
definitely
4 hours later, you're still not where you want.
Shoot!
Like, oh, okay, so I should have played these 5 kids there. And
that tells you, well, you don't know what you're doing as a coach.
Right.
Numbers don't lie, my friend. Numbers don't lie.
But yeah, I graduated from Pius, so I always cheer for them. Obviously not when they're playing us. It's probably the only time I don't cheer for them, but I always want to see their success. If we can't be successful, I want to see them be successful and strive and keep doing what they're doing in their county.
Right.
You know, be the better Lancer school in the area.
Oh, easy now.
Hey, south of the Merrimack. South of the Merrimack.
You
South
know,
of the Merrimack.
we always joke every time we play St. Pius that we guarantee a Lancer win.
Yes, that's right.
So,
that's right.
You know, you can go into that one. Put your money there.
That's great. That's great. So we go from from that championship, backtracking to conference championship. Boys, small school was St. Vincent, and they had a heck of a season. What did they? Do you know what they ended up doing in the playoffs?
They did not. I don't believe they won their district. I think they had Orion in there. So
okay.
I think they ended up winning the district down there. So I think that was, a tough draw for them. But as far as that goes, so and I another thing that Bruce Valeroy down there does such a great job. I mean, with those programs and he coaches usually does all three pro teams, freshman,
right.
JV, and varsity, coaches them all.
Right.
So I don't know how he does it or why he does it, but he's been doing that for many, many years. And so on top of that, he was the AD for many, many years before he, took that away. He decided to not take that away and give it away. So
I'm under the impression he stepped away.
Yeah. Well, I think he probably did for a few years, and he may be completely done. I don't know, but. That was something, that boys team last year from St. Vincent was pretty good.
Yeah.
And they're definitely pretty good this year too.
Oh my gosh! If you cared about your education, you know how to spell traitor. It's spelled traitor. Oh my gosh! Is that a shot at you?
No, at Jarvis.
Oh, okay.
Jarvis said that he called me a traitor.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Coach Miller, we teach how to spell correctly in private schools, right?
Hey, if you cared about your education.
Two people do.
So we move on to the ladies, and the ladies, what team? What small schools? Who won that conference?
That'd be the Black Cats.
Was that you guys?
Yeah.
That just seems like that was so long ago.
Yeah.
I got a T-shirt from that, by the way.
Yeah, you should have.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. No problem. We were very fortunate to be able to go 5-0 in the conference last year, and that was one of our goals as a team was to go undefeated and win a conference title, and we were very fortunate to do that. Had some good tests. Played a very good Grandview team and won a close battle. They had a shot to win it at the buzzer on a close shot at the rim, and just didn't go their way. But I was excited about having an opportunity to win a conference title. It's something we haven't done since I've been there outright. We've been in a co or a tri champion, but we've never been an outright champ. So that was a good feeling as far as that from, taking over the program when I did, where they were winning 2 to 3 games a year and, trying to move that plug into the right direction. And I think it's, we're moving in the right direction as far as that goes, but we still got a lot of work to do.
Okay.
So I got a question.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
I might open up an old wound.
Uh-oh.
Let me apologize. How in the heck do you guys beat Grandview, who played us within 10? You know where I'm going with this.
I do.
And then end up with the result when we played.
I don't.
Because
your guess is as good as mine. I have no earthly idea. I tell you what, I will say that when we played you, we did not have school that day.
Oh,
and
there it is, right
that's
there.
Fair.
Oh, okay.
And then we also had a couple kids that were doing some select volleyball, and there was a volleyball tournament, and a few of them played in that volleyball tournament, and it was so our legs probably weren't underneath us as much as it could have been. But that's the thing. You really don't know. Any given night, you don't know. It's just crazy how that
you
works.
almost can't comparative score.
Mm-mm.
I'll two things on that. It was our last game, so even on the JV end, I made sure everyone played equal amount of times, things like that.
Yeah,
we weren't going to see you again unless
it was a Final Four.
It was a Final Four. So really, to me, it was more, let's just kind of clean some stuff up. And we came in, even as a coaching staff, not taking it as if it wasn't you, it would have been even less cared if it was whoever came before you that you took over and we didn't know. Kind of going on to that. And
yeah,
then
because, I mean,
second
once you guys beat Grandview, we played Grandview, within 10. Actually,
but on that game, you shot 3 shots in the fourth quarter because you ran a four corners offense and you were like, they're not going to touch the ball?
Hey, when you have a lead and you have a ball and it's the fourth quarter, if you don't give the other team the ball, you can't lose.
Correct. So your score could have been a lot bigger if you actually
play the
pushed
game
it.
to win.
Coach Miller can attest to that.
You did not push the game at all come the fourth quarter. You were, let's shut it down and let's take the win.
And you weren't shooting very well that night, and I think you just took every advantage. You said, we're not shooting very well. We got the lead. We're not shooting anymore unless you make us come out and
Ben
we'll
special.
I will tell you this: if we're this isn't technically 2020, but it's the 2020 season. One of the things, besides being able to hang out with these guys for a week playing in their tournament, one of the things about playing in the Black and Red, the Doe Run Classic, is the environment on Friday nights is awesome. And our kids were amazed by the fact that, we come out, we're playing Grandview, who's Herky's rival.
Yeah.
And, Herky played before us, and everybody stayed. And so, the entire side of the bleachers is red and black, and they're cheering for us because we're playing Grandview and beating Grandview. And, the kids are like, Coach, this is so cool. That's kind of the environment of high school basketball that you want. And so, it's really cool to see that and see, maybe sometime in our tournament we can return the favor, once COVID's over.
Right. I mean, in that game 5, but that last game with Chris Miller, and it was packed.
I was getting ready to say
I'm glad the fire marshal didn't show up.
I tell you what, I've been at
electric.
I've been at Herky now. I guess this would be year 15, and I've never seen that gym as packed as it was, and we're sometimes on those 4-game nights with Jefferson R7 or St. Pius or Crystal City. We're Grandview. We usually pack a gym, but I've never seen it as packed as it was that night, and it was standing room only.
Stillville showed up too. It wasn't just Jefferson County.
And Stillville had almost the whole one side, and they were there in the parking lot waiting at 3:00 in the afternoon to get in.
They travel well.
Yeah,
they definitely do. We were limited to camera people. I had 2 extra camera people, and John Roop said, I can't even seat you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, are you serious? Come on, we're media, whatever. He's like, no, I have. He has no room in the inn. Is basically what he
I posted
said,
up at the score table because I'm like, I'm gonna go there.
Go up there.
Did they put extra seating on the stage?
They did.
Yeah,
and they was all
that
full.
was standing room.
That was
packed.
In that gym. You put 50 people in that gym, and it sounds like there's 200 to begin with.
It does.
Carries well.
Even the other night when you play North County in that championship game.
It was 2 per person, and
it
was
still loud in there.
Yeah, it was cool. So, let me ask you this: with your opinion on this, sorry, Ray, my ADD's kicking in here.
Right.
So, what do you think with Misha going to this home team host? Do you think we lose some of the higher seed host to get in the home game? Do you think we lose some of these cool environment type district things, or do you think that people still travel to go see?
I think you're going to lose it regardless because of COVID.
Yes,
but I'm talking about it. I think it's going to stay this way. I think
if it stays, I think you definitely lose it.
I think that's going to be. You're not going to see, like you said, you have teams that push to be able to host that. Just because one of 2 things, that it's a great environment there, or 2, it's just a central located place. As far as where all the teams are located in that district. So, that's another thing that I'm interested to see if that happens. If it stays like this, are they going to draw the teams in a closer proximity where you don't have to go drive an hour and 15 minutes to go play a 6:00 game?
What's the furthest district from, in your district, what's the furthest school?
Frederick?
Well, it'll be Fredericktown or St. Clair. So, I mean, if you look at both of those two, Park Hills, Fredericktown, St. Jen. I mean, if St. Jen's
Park
got to go with
Hills
St.
and
Clair.
St. Jen, like those are all relatively.
They're all relatively close. Then
Yeah.
St. Clair's a little than we're.
Yeah. So if you had to St. Jen and St. Clair had to play each other, that's a long haul there
for
you
either
know?
one of those two schools. Yeah.
Either which way you go. So I just think that's something that even Steelville last year for us had to kind of drive all the way to Herculaneum. And
Yeah, we're 5 miles, I think, in our district right now is
Wow.
basically the furthest school. I mean, it's Bayless, Hancock, Notre Dame, which is South City, us, KIP.
Yeah,
and,
all right there together.
I mean, Steelville had the perfect storm of boys and girls were there, so
Right.
it's not just one game at
Well,
8 o'clock.
and I think that's going to change with the championship factor because, like, our boys aren't even in the same class as us right now.
Really? Oh, so they're up?
Yeah, they're in class 5 and we're in class 4, and so so we're going to lose your private schools in general. So that
Right.
boys and girls thing,
Right.
I don't know. It was just weird when I was thinking about the environments and stuff like that.
Yep.
So
Kevin Holly put this out here several years ago. Pius and Jefferson had to go to Clearwater for districts.
Yes, I remember that.
Oh,
It's a trip.
wow.
That's a nice
Just
little
a little
trip down
trip,
there.
yes.
So
Clearwater's where is it 67 or 55?
It's 67.
67
down
between Farmington and Bluff, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Trying to think, is that 47 down there? Is that what that?
Mhm.
47 goes down through there
32?
as well, and 32. Yeah, 32. That's what I was thinking of too.
Yep.
Yep. So we'll put the book away on on basketball.
Well, let's
we should just
give a little hat off to the Crystal City for winning their
yeah,
district.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
completely forgot about that.
Because I feel like he has more district titles
Yes.
than any other
Coach
school in the county.
Yeah.
Are you talking about
Ken
Ken Jones?
Jones?
Yeah,
Ken
was
Jones,
with him
I
last
mean-
night.
Yeah, Ken does a really good job, and we've talked about this on the show before. I think what really helps Crystal City is the schedule that they play, and their conference schedule. I mean, they're playing all Class 3 and Class 4 schools, and then going into postseason time, they're playing in our tournament at the Doe Run, which is seeing some great competition.
Sure.
And then you go into that, they play a very strong conference schedule, and then also a non-conference schedule too. So, I think that has a huge advantage for them. They sets their kids up for success down the road by playing some good competition early and finding a way about how their teams play and kind of being able to do a little bit of learning as far as that goes. So,
And I think any of us would trade. I mean, we're talking to our kids about a December loss, talking about traded losses in December for wins in February and March, right? And I mean, I think he's kind of done that ultimate thing where, he doesn't back away from anybody, plays a tough schedule. And, I would take his record last year for the district championship and the chance to keep playing, versus winning a bunch of games. So, yeah, and we having had to play them the first, early in your tournament both times, I mean, you have to be prepared for them because these kids are always going to be prepared. They're going to be organized. You've played some of those schools before, Riley, that you're just like, oh, man, just don't get anybody hurt. Like, and, I mean, Crystal's not that way. They're going to come at you. They're going to be organized. They're going to be well coached.
Right.
And so, yeah, they might not have the depth where they have, where – us in a Class 4 or 5 school where we've got 2 of each kid, they've only got 1.
Right.
But he certainly gets those kids ready, and they buy into it, and they're definitely battle tested come postseason time.
And that's impressive too, considering you get a team with a losing record come district time. How many times are they like, here we go again?
Right.
And then they step up come district time, and it's like we're ready to go. So to get them ready for districts is head off. So good job, Ken, for winning again.
Yes, definitely.
Ken Jones, always playing for the district. I found that out the last 2 years in volleyball and softball, too. They'll try to do that for softball and basketball. So let's turn the page there for basketball.
A little bit about, the basketball. As like I said, we're going across you talk about across the river. I mean, over there, their state finals, the teams were all at the facility, and the IHSA called it off.
Yeah.
All the teams were there. It was
Yes.
just the teams only going to play.
Yeah.
And IHSA called it all off after they'd already traveled up there and was ready to go play that day. And at 9 a.m. in the morning for an 11 o'clock game, they said, nope, we're not doing it.
Well, that's basically what Greene County did down in Springfield. Like Greene County Health Department told Misha, all right, it needs to be 25% capacity. So like they're scrambling the morning of telling schools, hey, you only get 100
people,
tickets
yeah.
or 75 people, whatever it is. And so, yeah, I this is definitely going to be like the COVID year. I mean, I feel bad. We hired a new baseball coach at South, and God, he had at least 2 kids that are playing at Arkansas State right now, and like it was his like team, you know, to do some damage, and they'd returned a bunch of kids who'd lost to Borgia in the sectional game or whatever the year before, and like I'm sure there's stories around that all around, you know, where you had teams that just didn't get to play. And track, I mean, you guys at Herky have a really good tradition with track and cross country, and you know, not getting to those track athletes getting their track season in. And,
yeah. We had a good shot, I thought, on the boys and girls side both last year to maybe achieve a plaque on the both sides. And so,
Wow.
that was something that, we were very devastated with. And we had a kid that was, kind of have an opportunity to be a lead as far as a state champion in single events, and, just didn't ever get that chance. So, I just think a lot of that kind of thing is all these kids that did not get that chance, one to finish up their careers at their high schools in whatever sport it was.
Yeah, just to get that finality of things.
And then they left whatever sport they did in the winter. Let's say they did a sport in the winter. They thought, this is not the last time I'm ever going to step floor on an athletic court or a field or a track or whatever.
What about Pius is usually really strong in girls soccer, right?
Yeah,
in the spring.
Yeah.
I mean, they, trying to think what, just the soccer, losing soccer and baseball and track and.
Well, I mean, I feel bad for our track coach. It was his first year, and he's been the cross country coach.
Yeah,
and he's going to turn that. It's not like our track program was down. It just our numbers from the middle school never really translated to the high school, and I think he would actually be able to boost that up. Where now, instead of us relying on these 12 good athletes, we'd actually have 20 on both sides and getting them out. But he's trying to create that program.
Well, track is a sport. You got to have as many events filled to get as many points possible, right? So you want to be able to have those.
I think he's going to turn that program around, but now he's almost a year back. And then let's continue even this year. I mean, I bet you our middle school numbers are low. I mean, they are low. We only have 8 in 8th grade, and that's the lowest we've ever had. And I know of 3 girls that I've talked to, and they go, well, my parents don't want me playing sports this year because of COVID. And it's like, I get that, and I understand, and I can feel for them on that. But then it's like you've just taken a year away from it, and then how is it going to be? Am I going to be able to get them out their freshman year to come out and actually work onto it, or did we just lose 2 or 3 girls that could have been somebody?
Right.
And now we just kind of lost. And how many, especially these smaller schools?
Yeah.
How many kids did you lose? I mean, we have 70 kids online right now, so just with 7th and 8th grade. So how many of those could have played? Maybe.
I've said this talking with you guys a lot over the past few months, like what our administration has done to make sure that kids got the experience of being live and in person, and like, yeah, I'm Miller, I'm tired. I'm a teacher. It's Christmas break. But I would do it 100 times over again with, what our leadership, with what Jonathan Butterfield and Brian Lind and Rob Ladage and, our leadership team at our school, to get kids in person learning, to give them that experience that's transformational in high school.
Right. Yeah. They have to be to be in school.
Yeah, yeah. It's
online just does not.
It doesn't translate. It's not the same, and
you're seeing that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's more work, but it's what needs to be done for them.
Yeah. And for me, it was kind of cool because we kind of did an A and a B model. So like basically, our classrooms are set up for 16 kids to be socially distanced. And so if you have more than 16 kids in class, you split your time, you go A and B, and then you move and you get a big group meeting once a week with them. And for me, it was really cool just to have smaller groups to really build relationships with kids.
Right.
And for me, this was one of, stepping away from the coaching side for a second, but in the classroom, this was one of maybe my favorite years of teaching in 19 years.
Hands-on.
Being able to be with the kids in that situation. So, yeah, I really feel for those kids that lost out on an experience that they're never going to get back in the spring.
So suck it, Miller.
Yes, I'm tired.
But he did
it's
say,
okay.
he did say, Ben, trust me, I know tired looks like right now. I know he does.
Hey, he's picking up
you
those
keep
kids.
Talking. You keep talking, you two over there, and I got to change something up here. You just keep talking.
Well, and that's the one thing that we've done here at Dunklin, and I know that we've been very fortunate for the whole first semester that we were able to go 5 days a week all year.
Yeah.
And I thought that was an attest to our administration and our school board that they were able to make that happen and offer that for our kids. And a lot of our kids took advantage of that. I think some of them stepped away the first semester maybe and then our first quarter and maybe realized that it was just way too hard, way too difficult to try to do that virtual learning. And I think some parents realized it as well, that it was just a lot more on that kid's plate than what they could probably handle. And so we're very fortunate with that.
Yeah, and this is what I was alluding to before we had the technical difficulties. Like, these kids, they're not it's not super spreader events. Schools aren't super spreaders, especially when you've got a health official in your nursing staff, you've got administrators that are making decisions, you've got teachers. The kids want to be there. They're not going to go pull their mask down and breathe in somebody's face because they want to be on campus. So they're going to stay spread out. They're going to keep their mask on. They're going to do what it takes. They're not going to come to school sick. My wife's a pediatric ICU nurse, and she said that they've seen, the pediatric ICU numbers are down because kids aren't in school. You don't have the younger kids breathing RSV and all these other viruses all on each other. And so that's my thing. I feel this. Kids need to be in school. They need that experience. They need to be social. They need that social interaction. And you talked about what's going on with what from an athletic standpoint, but what are we going to do? Like mental health. What have we done to our kids? What do we as education professionals and coaches and stuff like that? We're going to have to do a lot of work to help those kids deal with those mental health issues too, from things that they've lost out over last year.
Holy shnikes is all I got to say.
I love it. I love it. But that is something that it's going to be a very touchy subject as far as moving forward with some of these kids that weren't able to go into the classroom and was strictly virtual. How do they handle that as far as a mental standpoint of, they're going to be, asked a lot of, and they're just going to be behind as far as that goes. And we've talked to kids that have said that, man, I just didn't realize how much being in the classroom was an advantage for me compared to a disadvantage.
Well, and, Riley and Ray, we've had, good conversations about faith.
Sure.
And one of the things that I'm thankful for that maybe you guys don't have the same freedoms or liberties, I guess to say, is, reminding my kids of their identity in Christ first and foremost. And that's how you attack those mental health issues. Sure. Is, you're a child of God, loved and saved by Jesus.
Right.
And you start there, and then you can help them to heal through that, So, like I said, fortunately, in my situation, I can reinforce that every single day.
Yep.
Yes.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I just, I'm a fan of kids. When you get in this business, you can't just be a fan of your kids. You have to be a fan of all kids, right? And I just, the ones, that are out there that are hurting, that missed out on something.
Yep.
Those are the ones you feel for.
Absolutely, absolutely, and there is a lot of those out there, and it's very unfortunate. But it's part of what we've had to deal with in 2020, and we've got to make the most of what we've had and help the ones that need the help as far as that goes. So that's why we do what we do.
It is. It is.
We're moving on to the summer, Ray. We'll go on.
We buzzed through baseball already, and starting with our fall sports, football, volleyball, girls softball. Start with girls softball first. We covered quite a few games. Saw some amazing play out of
Jefferson County's got some good softball.
Great pitching.
Yeah.
Had some great pitching this past fall. Ellie Eckrich over in Hillsboro. AJ Eggers over at St. Pius X. Can't keep out Katrin Couture over there at good catcher. Piper Montgomery over at Windsor.
Right.
We caught a little bit of Windsor, a little bit of Hillsboro, a little bit of St. Pius. Through all of those teams there, I'm trying to remember that we didn't have. The unfortunate thing is we didn't have a super deep Jefferson County run like we are used to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so we took a look at Windsor. Was kind of a weird deal. They pull Rosati Kane the first game, I believe that's correct. They lost, and then they find out that a Rosati Kane, I believe, or was it a Webster Groves team that played Rosati?
Kane.
It was a Rosati Kane pitcher is ineligible because she was playing a club sport.
They're in the
same
same
season, same sport.
And
Weird.
it stinks for Windsor. It just does, But we covered that game. It was one heck of a game.
Yeah.
Pitcher
the
was a heck of a
Webster,
pitcher.
Because Webster won it.
Webster won the state title that year, so this year, and first time ever that they've won a state title there in softball, if I'm not mistaken. I think I read that. So
I will football wise.
Okay, go ahead.
With that, we were 0-10 last year, Lutheran South. DC
Undefeated.
who is
Undefeated.
he is our he's our assistant basketball coach with me, but he's our head football coach too. He got his first win of the season in the last couple of years. Windsor was close game, and they actually went for an onside kick and recovered it.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. We still haven't figured out if it was a squib gone bad or if it was an actual onside kick. And with football,
like the longest yard when the guy he can't kick. I know. Get the ball.
Exactly.
One of the things I thought was cool about football is I know Jarvis coached his son, and I always looked forward to that picture every Friday night that he posted with his son.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was a cool thing. He was taking a moment to hey, let me hold on and enjoy this experience that I get with my son. I mean, my kid's 5, and sometimes I want to choke him out. Not till he stops breathing, just till he gets
down,
the point,
right?
Yeah. And my daughter's 2.5, and I hope that I'm fortunate enough to get the opportunity to coach them in some sport, and I hope that I can do what Jason's done and just take that moment and say, hey, this is a cool thing. I want to enjoy this experience. Yeah, be a dad.
It's cool.
And so Friday nights, that was one of the things I look forward to, was just that weekly picture that he posted, following him on social media. So I think, cool moments like that we get out of sports, right? That's another thing that we get out of sports.
And as coaches, sometimes, as far as much as we don't want to say it happens where coaching takes us out of our family life and maybe puts that sometimes behind the 8 ball as far as that goes. And, that's something that, I've been very fortunate to have a lot of support at home as far as what I do coaching-wise. But, I was able to this fall to be able to see my son play and, as a freshman in high school, play soccer and just enjoy the experience of being able to be a dad in the stands and watch.
What school did he go to?
DeSoto. DeSoto, yes, thanks. It was just a cool experience for me just to be able to sit in the stands and just enjoy watching him play and not being critical or being a coach. And
would he have looked better in black and red?
He definitely would have. Definitely would have.
Probably blue and gold.
Yeah.
Kyle gets that one in the blue and gold.
You value your kid's education. Is that how it goes?
What? You mean you couldn't get Miller to get you a good enough deal over there?
Right?
Don't you know people there?
I guess my son didn't value his education enough. I don't know.
I will say, I don't think I've ever lost to a Lancer in the soccer pitch.
Wow.
But so those are kind of experiences, and I think that's great that you brought that up about Jason, because those are some special times that you said you look forward to that, because that was very meaningful to him, and they had a really rough year this year in football, but he still took the time out after every opportunity just to tell his kid, hey, I'm enjoying these moments of being your coach, but I'm also enjoying it just as being your dad. And that's something that, as far as that goes, that I take a lot of pride in, and I see it, that Coach Jarvis does that. I mean, they don't realize how many hours of the day he spends with other kids, not his own, and
Right.
it's just tough. It's really tough. So it's a very tough situation. But
yeah, we'll move on to volleyball real quick. We'll quickly cover that. I'll tell you, this was our first year doing a full season.
Let's go back to
Oh, you wanna
football
go?
real quick. I
Okay,
want to make sure we mention
Well,
about
I was
the
going to get back to
Jefferson.
football again, but go
The
ahead.
Jefferson R7 Blue Jays made it. And what an awesome season for them. They just were playing really good football at late, and
deepest run they've ever made in school history.
It was awesome to just the excitement around the county as far as them and Festus were able to go get a little deep run into the playoffs and bring kind of a little bit of excitement back into the county as far as football wise. We haven't seen that.
Festus won district
and
They won
next
district.
round, and then they lost after that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, some footballs, some football districts, it's like straight to quarterfinals.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so I think that's how it went this year.
Their
Went straight
upper
to-
classes
yeah.
were definitely like that.
Straight
So.
to quarterfinals.
And Festus dropped to Union, and then Jefferson made it the next round, lost in the Final Four to what is the name of that school? Way
Lamar?
over there? Lamar, that's correct.
Lamar's a powerhouse.
Yes,
Yeah.
And so they're, kudos to both those schools. I mean, I kind of probably think Festus might be a little disappointed because they were wanting to go a little deeper, but
First
once
year
you
with the
get
coach.
yeah,
They ran
first year with
into-
the coach, you just have no idea.
They ran into a good Union team that was.
Hey, they beat John Burroughs.
Yeah, they were playing very, very well.
They were playing extremely well.
And they didn't just walk all over them either. So it was a good ball game
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah, I talked to that AD that day when we went over there to check out Union because we were supposed to do the game.
Mm-hmm.
One of my announcers had a family emergency the day of the game. We had to cancel, and the school had to cover the game. But long story short, on that whole thing, I mean, he said that John Burroughs game. He said it's probably the best game I've seen in about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
It
That was-
was a heck of a game that they the Union Wildcats put up with John Burroughs. So.
Yeah, I mean it was just really cool to see the community rally behind those two schools as much as we have a rivalry between all the county schools. I mean when they both started going deep into the playoffs, you saw the communities.
Did they allow a
around.
good following, Ray, or were they limited by COVID too?
It's limited, but I mean,
certain places were
certain
limited.
places like I think you go out to Union, and I think they actually had more because they were in
Opportunity.
Franklin County, right?
yeah.
And then they went to Lamar. I think they kind of had some a little bit more leeway, and you saw a lot of people sitting outside the stands as far as
Sam
that goes.
Page wasn't there either, too. So,
and I'll bring up
Dr. Sam.
that, Ray, and while you're on that topic, I'm
Sorry.
watching the state championship game with Jackson in it, and I look and I'm watching that game on TV, Misha TV, and they're shoulder to shoulder in the stands. shoulder to shoulder. I mean,
where was
shoulder
the game at?
To shoulder. It was in Jeff City. They played at I can't remember now. No, they played at the 3 schools there: Helias,
Jeff City,
and
Capital City. Did they play there?
There was gosh darn it, I can't remember.
Battle.
Blair Oaks.
Blair Oaks.
Those are the 3 schools they played at, and I mean, it was just shoulder to shoulder, and just crammed all in there. And you think, what in the world? But so that was just the kind of thing. It was just did COVID kind of get smart and decide to stay outside the fences or something?
Yeah,
I don't know, but it was just awesome to see that community come together and be there for their opportunity for Jackson's first ever state title in football. And they've had some really good runs. They just never been able to get over that hump to get a state championship.
They seem to be good at everything, it seems like.
We had a conference. I think MICDS played in a state championship game, one of those, out of our conference.
Yeah, they did.
And
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Jefferson County cheers for. I mean, you saw that with 253 when they went to the World Series. I mean, I feel like everybody was on board because a bunch of schools kind of
represented.
Sure. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you hear cross country. You hear Jefferson County. You think, oh, there's cross country, and it's like something. I mean, not to bash cross country because I mean, touche to them, but it's kind of nice getting something other than just one sport. Let's get some other sports getting involved and try to put Jefferson County back on the map as a whole, not just one good school or this school's just going to do it all.
Right.
That's something that, as far as tough as this year has been so far, we've had a decent amount of success in the sports atmosphere as far as that goes. So I think it's an attest to the kids and the amount of work that they're putting in outside of practice to stay healthy, to stay,
practice.
Yeah.
You're supposed to practice?
And I think that's something that.
Up. So what? Right. Did you guys won the district in cross country, right?
Yes.
Girls.
Yes.
Okay. And then did you guys make it to the podium?
Nope.
No.
They do have the most podiums, consecutive year podiums.
14.
Mm-hmm. In state history.
Yeah. I know you guys were good cross country. However, I did get a text that day. The district champion of your district, this individual district champion. Yeah, she texted me.
They told you what I said to her?
And she said...
who was that?
She was also the state champion, by the way, my starting point guard.
Yes,
Macy Shope.
Macy.
Oh, okay.
And
very talented.
She said, Coach, I can't wait till we play Herculaneum because I owe them now. Okay. So yeah, she won.
Whoever she's guarding is sticking at half court. I'm playing the whole
time. We only have one check. We only have one cross country girl on varsity.
She
tell the back off.
Right.
And she did commit. So my starting point guard won't play basketball in college, but she's going to go to a little small school down in Tuscaloosa. I think it's called Alabama. To run cross country.
Roll Tide, right? Roll Tide, Jarvis. Roll Tide.
Her older sister's there now, and so they recruited her, and she decided. So yeah, so that's I'm happy
awesome.
for her.
Good for
she gets
her.
to keep running, and she won district, won state. She, had come up short a couple of times, but it was funny. I got that text on the day, and she said, Herky beat us, right? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, I
told her that.
Basketball.
She probably texted you right after I said, "Take it easy on us in basketball this year."
Yeah.
She's
I congratulated
phenomenal.
her,
I like watching her defend.
Oh,
she's great.
Great kid.
When you had her against Capozzo, Capozzo is pretty good ball handler, especially for a sophomore in Jefferson County.
Yeah.
And she just made her look bad. And there's not a lot of girls that'll make Capozzo look bad. And it's fun watching her play defense.
Well, she's such a competitor, and that's the kind of thing about it. You just take in that consideration, but she definitely was a competitor, and you saw the fight. I was there at that state cross country meet. When she won that state title, and you could see the determination on her face.
Yeah, didn't she have to hold a kid off?
Yeah,
coming down the stretch.
Wow, what a finish that was! I was sitting up at the top of the hill there, watching. And, my goodness, you saw the competitive kid come out in her, that's for sure. And I will remember this watching her dad in his you just a joy of all that hard work and that effort and that energy that she's put into it. To watch his emotion when she crossed that finish line as a state champion, and that's the kind of thing that you take into consideration. That all these parents, they think that they watch their kid grow up and determined and put all the work in to be successful, and then they get to see the rewards of that as far as being a parent of a kid and saying, okay, here I always taught you, work hard, everything you do, and then they see the rewards of that. So it's awesome.
Was Festus's cross country, were they strong this year?
They won championship.
Yes.
Did they?
Yes.
Cool.
Sure did.
Yeah, I knew they're usually pretty strong.
And that is so weird to say that, because the years that I grew up out here, there was Herky and there was everybody else.
Yeah.
Coach Wright, right? Coach Wright's got
Coach
it.
Wright, yeah.
He's got it figured out with them.
And multiple years from what I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah, it's been
the 7 years in a row. That tied Herculaneum's boys record for the most consecutive years in a row as a state champion. So next year they'll unless they get knocked off or somewhat, they'll overtake Herculaneum's record there. So been standing for a long time.
Accepted.
So
Caston.
So yeah, awesome season for us for the counties as far as all those sports go, and then we'll go into volleyball.
Yeah. So trying to remember. Crystal won their district.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Hillsboro won the district outright over Pius.
Yes.
Which that was a feat in itself too, because Pius girls rolled.
They got bumped two classes with the new championship
bumped
factor.
Up two, and handled it fairly well. I felt.
Yeah.
I knew they probably weren't going to win the class 4. Because that's a big feat. That's like Valley trying to win.
Yeah.
Right. Jumping up from class 1 to class 3. In football, but I was pretty impressed with how they handled themselves. They knew they had a tough task in front of them, but that's the championship factor now.
Right.
You're going to continue to win. They're going to move you up.
And I did see that Kevin Halley said
that.
He
just posted that.
Don't forget about St. Pius girls cross country. They had the state champion as well.
Yeah.
In class 2, I think they're class 2.
Oh, wow.
So
Cool.
They had the individual state champion in class 2, and was on the opportunity there to get on the podium. So how awesome is that for them, and to be able to, they won a district title in cross country as well. So great opportunity. Yep. I think even maybe our 7 won a district title in cross country still. A lot of district titles around the county in cross country, but that tells you, like you had said, cross country is pretty good in this county.
Right.
How was Windsor's volleyball this year?
Windsor did pretty well. They made it into that a pretty tough. They made it all the way to the finals in the districts and lost.
Mm-hmm. Were they with Hillsboro?
No, they were not. This was the first year that since we've been covered, they went north. Rockwood Summit came out of that particular district.
Okay.
Then we decided to go and cover Hillsboro and Rockwood Summit. Hillsboro ended up having to play Narix Hall the first round. And they got bounced pretty quick.
Yeah.
Narix Hall had one heck of a feat to come back. They came from behind 2 games and won 3 straight against
Summit.
We would get put with those schools at times, and but we got bumped into class 6 this year, so I kind of lost. With because our championship factor took us up.
That's absolutely such a jump for some of these schools. It's like, okay, there's a major adjustment that has to happen.
Oh yeah,
and I still feel like public schools need to have a championship factor.
See, I am with you. I think that for private schools it should be unlimited. So if you're class 2, you get it. You could end up in 6. But I think public
you want
schools,
to be in the NIT.
But I think public schools should get 1 for sure. I mean, you mean to tell me places like, we talk about Stratford basketball or Lamar football or Webb City football.
Wouldn't they want to? If I'm Stratford, it's like I walk all over everybody. Their only close games are against class, at least last couple of years, 4 and 5 schools.
Right.
Now, they were holdovers from that 4-year run.
Correct.
Still. And I'll tell you what, I think it's Emma Compton, who's a senior this year. I mean, anybody would take that kid as their point. You talk about a kid that just plays with grit. And I remember when we played him, and she was, I think she was, God, was it 3 3 years ago, I don't know. She was freshman or sophomore and coming off the bench for him. I'm like, jeez, this kid's coming off the bench. Like,
we're in trouble.
So that's success breeds success. But yeah, some of those, Webb City football, Lamar football.
Chris Miller says South Iron basketball.
South Iron
basketball.
You, buddy. Yeah.
Didn't they lose this week? They lost.
They lost to
Vashon.
Yeah.
What a game! I mean, what a team that is.
Well, it gives.
And then they beat Waynesville.
I'm doing that. I saw that too.
They beat Waynesville
Pretty bad, too.
by 40.
Yeah.
So Class 1 school played Class
Miller, what about that? Come on now, South Iron. They're supposed to beat Vashon. I'm just saying. I'm just kidding.
But even like Vashon, who's gonna, probably would have won a state championship again last year, right? Do they deserve the championship factor? I mean, I'm with you. I think that public schools should have it, but not as drastic as the private schools.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So some form of it, but yeah.
Anything else? I'm trying to think.
That's all that we have as far as fall sports. I think that's fun, good. And then, we're kind of starting out the winter sports here with, the craziness, as they call it, COVID-19. So, it's just been a whirlwind of games canceling, teams getting quarantined, getting out of games, getting out of this tournaments. I think that's just going to be how it's going to be all year. And
flexibility.
We're
you
just going to
have flexibility.
And that's one thing him and I were just talking about this in the last week, that I'm really shocked that Misha hasn't put a boundary on it and said, okay, we're just going to take away the tournament and game limitations and say we're just going to let you play a maximum of 25 games. However you play them is up to you.
Yeah.
Because of
However
all this tournaments.
Go get them. Yeah.
Because you can maybe play in a tournament, you play one game, and then a team gets quarantined, and now you're out that tournament. You only got one game out of it,
Right.
And that's why one of the things we did with our tournament that you guys are playing in was it was important to us to make sure that each school got 3 games.
Right.
And so when we sat down and said, all right, St. Louis County really doesn't want us to do bracket style. They don't want us to have a bunch of people in one place at one time. So when my athletic director and I sat down and said, all right, what ideas do we have for this? I said, all right, let's figure out who everybody plays or will play. Mm-hmm. Let's give them matchups of people they're not going to normally see or repeats. And let's just make sure everybody has 3 games. And then if for some reason Riley can't get one of his games in, he knows that school and they can figure out when in their schedule they can go get that game. And then you don't lose out on that. But yeah, you're seeing that all over the place. I mean, both of us were supposed to play this week. And for us, I think it ended up being a blessing in disguise just because we got quarantined early in the basketball season. So we've been able to spend the last 3 or 4 days of practice just focusing on stuff we would have done early season when we were quarantined.
Yeah.
And without having to prepare for a game. So, but yeah, 15, what you guys are going to end up in the, 20-something,
22 days
without
22 days between without a game.
Yeah,
so.
And so.
You're dying for a game right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, we start with Webster.
Do you ever
welcome back.
I never heard back from that. I'm hoping next week we get one on Tuesday or Wednesday. That's what I'm hoping for. So
we're working on something.
We're trying.
You guys
to.
together?
Well, not us together.
But
we joked. We said we should have just moved our game.
Yeah, you should have
against each other till like this week, and then filled in later on.
We have nothing for another week.
Yeah,
we don't have anything till your tournament.
Oh wow, yeah. So. And that one, we're back. We took that one game out. Pius is. So it's us back to back, 12 and 145, I think.
Yeah, on the second.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
gotcha. All right. I knew I was going to get some love from Chris Miller.
There it is.
There it is. Vashon is a kid going to UNLV. I got it. I understand. I was totally joking there. Take it easy now. Take it easy.
That is one thing that South Iron has done is a great job this year. I mean, they knew they were going to be a pretty good basketball team, and they just didn't go play all these Class 1 schools. They went out and played Class 4s, 5s, and 6s.
Well, and you got to.
Make yourself better.
Yeah.
I mean, with that kind of talent, I mean, you definitely got to put those kids in the best position, as far as that goes. So,
absolutely.
Tap off to them.
Absolutely.
If you read my next post, I said, I'll give him love when he gives Cincinnati and Coastal Carolina some
What's
love.
the over-under on that, right?
That's for you, McVay.
We always pull the over-under because of the Kyle Bohr factor. So, there it is. Well, guys, it's been a fun show, and we're going to kind of see where we go for tomorrow or next week, I should say. And
hopefully we'll have the boys back.
Yeah.
But if not, we'll be able to hopefully get our Christmas gift
rescheduled gift exchange together
as well. I think that'll be a fun show. Hopefully that'll happen either next week or the week after maybe. So that's gonna be some fun stuff going on. But hey, we just enjoyed 2020 as far as that goes.
Kevin Holly.
I'm
sorry, that was me. I said it. I spelled Coastal Carolina incorrect.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes.
I get it.
Hey, well, I just want to say thanks for letting me fill in today.
A lot of fun.
And,
Yeah,
2020's been a weird year,
Oh
but
my gosh.
for me, the thing that I've taken the most comfort in is knowing God's still on the throne.
Yep.
He's in control, and makes waking up tomorrow pretty easy.
Yes, it does.
There you go.
So, but thanks for having me around talking about the last year. It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks for coming over, Ben, and Coach Bohr. Thank you,
Kyle Bohr.
Hey, I love 2020 because I had some time off and actually spent time with my kid. It was just born with
and
that.
his wife,
and my wife. So we got a lot of family time, and then we got in quarantine right before basketball season. My kids started walking, so
hey,
nice.
I got to see a lot of steps, and got a lot of father family time. Then
to me that's important, and so there's a lot more positives out of that than negatives. That's what I look at. Look at all the positive things I've got to be able to do during that. So. But as far as the show goes, we want to say thanks, Ray, for putting up with us crazies. I know sometimes we get a little bit off the rails, as you call it.
Oh, that's all right.
But
we're gonna have to deal with somebody off the rails here already because they've been griping and complaining to me about it.
That's okay. Yeah, we'll be all right. But thanks for putting this on and being able to let us do that. So
it's been fun, and looking forward to next year already with it. And the good thing about it is we use everything we do. Oh, he looked in the camera and it was on it. How did you know that? That was awesome. But we're just finding ways to get a little bit better, a little bit easier with it. I've been contacted by a couple other coaches about doing maybe a different coaches show too. Next week we got a surprise. It doesn't have anything to do with. Well, it does, but it doesn't. It is Coach's Box related, sort of. But it has something to do with Jim Powers and some referees instead.
Love it.
Oh,
so
cool. Can I sit over there and watch?
You can, and it'll be a different night. We'll have Jim Powers on, and I think he's bringing in some referees, and we're gonna. I think we're gonna call that the referee strikes back.
I
episode.
did see it. I did see an official today, and as he was leaving to go home for the day. And I saw him inside of a gas station, and he wanted me to make sure I told Coach Jarvis that he's very upset with him because he cost him a game down at Park Hills because his basketball team is quarantined, and so he missed out on the game. So he expects his payment in the mail, Coach Jarvis. So wherever you can find his address.
Was that Underwood?
Yeah, Charles.
Charles, I was with him last night.
Powers get Matt Shelp on, Macy's dad. He's a good
official too.
He's a good official who doesn't do our games, unfortunately, but he is a great personality too.
Yeah.
Like he would be great for a show like this. So.
Holly says I can hear the whistles aimed at Riley already.
Here's
your stop sign.
Can we get the kid who gave Blair the 17 technicals?
Oh, he would be awesome too.
17.
No, it was more like 7. But I walked into
League.
the gym in summer league and beep, beep.
Oh,
and Blair's like, give me another one. We're not paying to shoot free throws.
who got those technicals? In a summer league game?
That
sounds like a good commercial.
The problem is I wasn't even arguing anything. I was just asking him a question, and he didn't like it that I asked him a question he didn't have the answer to.
Jarvis, Miller, or McVeigh haven't got technicals yet this year, have they?
No, they have not.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've got. Have you gotten one?
I have not.
No, I didn't get one yet.
You got a big one.
I did. Big arms, big long ones clicking out. So.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks, guys, for being with us again, and we appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Sorry about the technical issues. I think we got it fixed. And
Merry Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas, Happy New Year. We hope to check you out here next week with something. We'll keep you involved and updated as well as we can. For all of us here at the Coach's Box, have a good night. We'll see you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.